Hello everyone and welcome to this video, which is in our Engine Snack series. I'm Grandmaster Matthew Sadler and we're having a look at the game between SlowChess and SlowChess played in the TCEC Season 22 Division P. This is the position after move 25. SlowChess had sacrificed a pawn early on, a very fine pawn sacrifice. And Black's position is rather loose. The pawns on c6 and e6 are weak and attacked. And the knight on a8 is poorly placed. And also the black pawn structure means that, well, squares like e5, g5, quite tempting for white's pieces if they can establish themselves there. This game is really a vehicle for the dark squared bishop to show its quality. And, well, it starts with the move 26 bishop e3. Hitting the queen on c5 and trying to chase it away from the defence of the c6 pawn. Well, black manages to do so tactically, queen e7. The rooks are still attacked, so white has to take some action. But then after knight d8, the knight on d8 defends c6, and of course the knight on a8 is defending b6. However, the knight has had to retreat from f7, and that gives white the opportunity to occupy that e5 square. And after queen d6 challenging the knight, we play bishop f4. A second move with a dark squared bishop, threatening some sort of discovered attack on g6. Now black has to decide, you know, that knight that white's got, is that worth more than the dark squared bishop or less? Difficult to say. I think, you know, in a game I would be tempted to play a move like queen d5. I mean, here Stockfish was playing knight g4. Obviously queen e4 allows knight f6 check. Bishop d4, queen e1, and after king f8, trying to get out of any possible forks, queen b4, c5, queen a4, and it's really, you know, a very difficult position for black to defend. I mean, the queen can come around to a7. This knight is also looking at squares like f6 and h6. We've got this dark squared bishop has got possible checks, bishop c4 at some stage. Very, very difficult for black to hold. So, on balance, it probably is a better idea just to take off the knight. But of course now the white's dark squared bishop is mighty, and this third move by the dark squared bishop just brings it into the centre very powerfully. Now what actually happened here was quite amazing, because I was playing games between Stockfish and Koivisto on my 94 thread machine, and actually Stockfish managed to draw masses of these as black. And how did Stockfish manage this? Simply by trying to cover as many dark squares as possible with its knights. And it found this very nice setup here. Queen d5, queen e3, knight f7. Great square for the knight, you know, covering all sorts of dark squares. Bishop g3, queen d7. Bishop c4, and now the knight comes into c7. We give the b6 pawn, but that's kind of a peripheral pawn, you know. But knight on d5 blocks the line of the bishop here, and then after queen a6 we play e5. And again, establishing some sort of dark square presence from black, and holding back the white pieces. I mean, it's still very pleasant for white, but Stockfish was managing to draw all of these against Koivisto, really a very large number. So pretty interesting, actually. A very good way of defending, and maybe just a good way of thinking about it. You know, if your opponent's strong on the dark squares, try, you know, and establish your pieces so that you can also challenge for the dark squares. Queen e7 was Stouflace's move, and also I think preferred by Koivisto in the matches. And now a very nice little idea: Bishop d4 from SlowChess. What's it doing? It's attacking the pawn on b6, but it's also freeing the e5 square. So queen e5 can come in now and threaten to come into h8. So queen d6 played by Stouflace, and now a very nice move again. Again a dark squared bishop move, bishop e3. What's the point of that, you may ask? Well, the idea actually is to bring the queen round to a4, so the bishop's just freed access for the white queen to the fourth rank to a4. And here actually it seems that Stouflace made the really big mistake, and I think you'll understand why it's a mistake after what I've said before. But Stockfish was still managing to hold some positions here by doing something quite similar to what it did before. It can't get the ideal structure with a knight on f7, knight on d5, but still, you know, these you can see it fighting with the the knights and the queens to hold some dark squares and actually also prevent any sort of invasion by white along the queen side. And well, this was pretty unpleasant, but Stockfish held it, you know. So, but I think still this idea of fighting for the dark squares, not giving white a free ride on those squares, is the real basic idea in there, and also trying to you know, taking the entry points away from the white pieces. The Stockfish played b5, and really this is quite a disastrous move because it really abandons any fight whatsoever for the dark squares. And well, as we're going to see, white this is the channel which white uses to get right into black's position in a very painful way. And it all begins again with a dark square bishop. It comes round to f4. Can you imagine? We've gone bishop e3 to f4 to e5 to d4 to e3 and now to f4 again. Incredible. Queen d7 and now queen e5. So actually here we're putting the queen on e5 first. Maybe looking for b8. Maybe we're just going to look round to get the bishop again round here and invade on h8. Knight f7, queen b8 check, queen d8, queen b7, and well, all of these moves are really just increasing white's advantage enormously. e5 played by Stockfish, some control of the dark squares, but it's way too late now because now the light squares are appalling as well. Queen e8, Stockfish defends, keeps it together, and now this lovely move bishop c5, and we can just see the queen's dominating the knight on a8. The bishop is actually dominating the knight on f7. It can't come round to d6. And after knight g5, bishop a7 was huge, and white's just threatening bishop b8, shutting off that knight, and actually you're just going to win it, just going to take the knight on a8. So knight e4 played, allowed bishop b5, very nice. The bishop on f1 finally doing something for its money. Takes, check, king h8, queen e4, knight c7, bishop b6, and there's no way for black to defend the e5 pawn. If you go back to a8, I go bishop d4, exploiting the pin, and then we've got bishop e5 coming in next. So knight e6 was played, but then queen e5 check, king g8, bishop d4, and it was all over. Finally, this dark square bishop supporting the queen in a beautiful way, and after queen c6, queen h7, well, white picked up first one pawn and more followed. A really beautiful game from SlowChess, and yeah, simply I love these you know, these things where one piece turns out to be the star, and the whole, you know, of white's plan over a period of 20 moves is to use frequent shifting of this dark squared bishop to create dark squared weaknesses and entry channels into the black position. And well, when you move from this all the way to this in the space of 20 moves, that's pretty impressive. Great play from SlowChess.